Truck Racing 2 is a budget-style arcade racing game that was developed by Brain in a Jar Limited and published by Midas Interactive for the PlayStation 2 in 2005. And this game would also be added to the lineup of PlayStation 3 games on the online catalogue on the PlayStation Store a few years later. And this game would be more of a budget-styled entry into the racing genre, like many other games also seen and developed by that company, Brain in a Jar, that gives you access to a variety of different modes, with challenge modes, open race modes and championships, that allows you to race on both day and night cycles, where you can compete and race on 12 different types of tracks, and you can unlock various different high powered trucks that all have their own unique handling characteristics and abilities. And you are also presented with a 2-player split screen mode, so if you wanted to play against your mates. So with this being a budget entry, it does have some unique quirks, but at the same time does also have its own issues and flaws, especially in terms of its handling and various dynamics surrounding the game. But it does have some decent attributes in terms of its pickup and play value. The only downside is that the game does have overly aggressive AI opponents, and at times it can be very difficult to win races. And you'll notice with the graphics engine of this game as well, that many other games developed by the same company all utilise this engine, because if you look at the graphical quality, it's very similar to those type of games. And also to make note of, with the likes of these type of truck racing games, the one thing that's apparent with them, and I know myself from playing a lot of these type of games over the years, and even with more modern games, the handling in these type of games, again because you're racing as trucks, because of the weight distribution, the handling is always very vague, and you feel like you've no grip. When you're driving at speed, the slightest little touch of the controller can literally spin you out off the track and crash at any given time. So you always have to be mindful of your speed and how you're driving around corners, especially with regards to maintaining speed. But you also do have to be aware of your opponents as well, because they can be quite aggressive and will often knock you off the track also if you're not careful. So it's just one of those games that does present a good balance in terms of its gameplay, but can also be quite difficult for many coming in, especially if you're an absolute beginner coming in to play this for the first time. It will be tricky and it will probably frustrate you, let's just put it that way. It took a few tries to get familiar with the whole dynamic of the game, again because the handling can be quite twitchy and quite sensitive. But I always find that with a lot of these budget type of games, especially on the PS2, and especially these type of games that were released under this format that are similar to this, the one thing that they always suffer from was the handling. The handling in most of these games was always quite poor, very sensitive, and the slightest little touch would just drive you into a wall straight away, and then pretty much you'd lose the race. Or if in most cases the AI was that aggressive, you'd never even get anywhere near first place. You'd always end up pretty much last place and you would never get out of it. So they were always tough. There was never really a good balance with certain aspects of these games, but in fairness with this here, it has improved on that. You can win races in this, but it all really depends on your own skill to make sure that you don't spin off. But in saying that, on other tracks you will find it more difficult, especially more intricate and more difficult and bendy and twisty tracks that you'll find with more corners and stuff. You will find it to be more of a challenge, but it really just depends on your own play style to see if it is something that you would be into. This game will appeal to some people, it won't appeal to others. That's just the whole dynamic of it really, but it is what it is. But if you do like truck racing games, this is another one that you could try out and see what you think for yourself. But again, I will leave that up to you. So I would love to know your thoughts on Truck Racing 2 for the PS2, if you have played it and you enjoy playing these more budget entry style of games that were released on the system during that time. I would love to hear whatever stories you do have of this game, so be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be updated of future videos. And if you would like to see more content on the channel around other types of racing games similar to this that were also seen on the PS2, then you can check out the playlist here on screen to see more of those games in action. And I will see you all in the next one.